to beat our rival. And all right, yeah, okay, you beat them 5 times in a row. Well, great. Nobody's going to care next year. It's you don't get to carry over any of the plays. You got to prove it every year. To me, that's a huge deal. I mean, there's been two 12-0 teams in the history of our school, 81 and 15. Was it 15? Isn't that right? 48 was 11-0, right? So I mean, even you can go to any school. How many 12-0 teams have there been at any program? I mean, there's probably just a handful. I mean, that's hard. That's really hard to do. It's very hard. Just look around college football. There's what, 3 or 4 undefeated teams, and I mean it's just hard to win week in and week out. And I have such great respect for this team, and how we've played. From a totality standpoint, in these previous 11 games. I mean, they just have had this incredible will to win. They've had this incredible will to prepare week in and week out. That would be an unbelievable accomplishment in this day and age, to be able to go 12-0. You look around college football and all the parity, and I mean, anybody can beat anybody on any given week, and to have that type of consistency. I think you were telling me we've played more teams. It's not like we've played, the Village Idiot University. I mean, we've played the most teams in the country that have 7 or more wins. I think we've played 7 of those teams. Is that what you said? 7 teams, and I think maybe the next team out there in the country's played 4 or 5. So that's impressive, and offensively, these guys have been consistent. We've scored 27 points or more every game, 11 games in a row, first time in school history. And then defensively, these guys have been stingy, man. So I'm just really proud of our team, and so I would love more than anything to see them be able to finish, and to be able to be one of those 12-0 teams that's rare in college football.
Coach Hudd.
I don't know if you caught any of Monday Night Football last night between the Rams and the Chiefs, or if you've seen those teams play at all this season, but when you see the college concepts working so successfully in the NFL, was a little bit of like, I told you so, or are you surprised to see that?
I'm not surprised, and it's kind of what I saw coming, 8 years ago, 10 years ago. It's exactly what happened for us. I mean, the pool changed, and, people used to always come in here. I remember when I first got the job, it was like, well, you're never going to be good on defense. You're running this offense. That was, and I remember I'm like, well, I don't think we have enough data to make that statement. That sounds good from all the old school football people that make these comments, but I don't think we have enough data. I think we just kind of wait and see. And we've been pretty good on defense in the past 10 years around here, doing what we do on offense. And I think it all comes down to, recruiting, and obviously coaching and development, how you practice, how you train, all that stuff, understanding of the game, understanding of what you got to do to be successful. But for me, the pool's changing in high school. High school coaches had to really adapt and change. Forever and ever, it was pro football down to high school football, and it's completely upside down because, like I said, the high school coaches competing with year-round sports and lacrosse and all these things, they had to make changes. Nobody's going to just come out there and run the option every day and get an I formation like I grew up doing, because there's more options. They go play video games. They play year-round sports. They do whatever. And so high school coaches changed, and they created 7-on-7s. There's no such thing as a 7-on-7 when I was playing football. 7-on-7 is unheard of. You just got your butt in the weight room. Go out there and run a few routes. But tournaments and that's helped get kids from the AAU basketballs and year-round baseball, and it made it fun. And then all of a sudden, the position changed at quarterback, and styles of play, and that's kind of who we're recruiting. That pool changed, and so as you've seen the college game change, the rules have changed, and and then now you've seen the exact same thing. I mean, Tom Brady's been doing it for several years. I mean, in the shotgun all the time. They're throwing screen games and play action, RPO. I mean, all kind of stuff. So no, I'm not surprised at all. I'm surprised that there's no defense, but I think that's just some of the rules, and then the defensive side not quite catching up yet, but it will. I mean, eventually they'll tighten up on that level too, and have a different understanding of what's going on. I just think it's kind of newer for that level. It's kind of the norm in college football, so it's interesting to see the kind of the transition. Some of these guys that so-called aren't prepared for the pro game and all that baloney that is so laughable. I used to laugh at that stuff. Like they're going to run different routes. They don't run different routes. They run the same routes. But it's just that's why you're seeing these guys go be successful, because the good coaches are taking advantage of the skill sets that these guys have.
Yeah, but when you communicate with Spurrier now, do y'all just sort of laugh at a lot of the spats that y'all had that had everybody in a tizzy back then?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. In fact, he called me. A couple weeks ago after one that beat Boston. He called me and just congratulating me, left me a nice message, and yeah, we and then this is kind of the time where I'll be with him. I usually am around him in the December, January time. I'll be with him 2 or 3 different times, and we'll cut up, have some fun. We had a couple events last year, and he messed up and let me have the mic last. He had it first twice. So yeah, we go back and forth, man. I'm glad Coach Spurrier's back in coaching, and I'm really excited. I'm excited about this new league, first of all, and the opportunity that it's going to create for so many good football players to have a chance to go, make a living playing. And I think it's going to be a ton of fun, man. Hadn't really been a lot said about it as of right now. I guess they're just kind of waiting to make a push in January, but I think it's going to be awesome, and he'll be fun to watch. So he's excited about it, but definitely glad he's going to be back on the sideline.
You were with Coach Spurrier. You were his guest at the College Football Hall of Fame dinner last December. What was that like for you?
Well, I was surrounded by Gators and Gamecocks, so it was. I got a lot of looks when I walked in there, but it was great. Everybody was very gracious, and he had a couple jokes, and we had some fun, and it was an unbelievable event. They had it at a really cool spot somewhere down by the river. I don't know if it was like an event center or something, but it was great. Met a lot of neat people, and got to meet a lot of his Duke. That Duke team, some of the Duke was there too. A lot of those folks. So it's pretty cool to be a part of it and be invited, and a lot of fun.
Having gone through a losing streak in this series, and now you're on the winning side, but can you go back to what it was like for your players, the frustration of going through that, and how much they wanted to end it, and then kind of relate that to what South Carolina might be going through?
Yeah. You got to play well, and if you go back and you look at the 5-game losing streak, I think we had 15 turnovers to their 3, and and they were really good. It's not like they were a terrible team, and we were really good. There was 2 of I thought 2 of those years they were just flat out better than us, and we might have had a chance. But like I said, we had 15 turnovers to 3. I believe that's the actual number in that 5-game deal. And that's, even Coach Spurrier, he called me after one of them. He's like, yeah, I don't know why y'all just turn that ball over every time y'all play us. I don't know, And I'm like, heck, I don't know either. And he's like, yeah, boy, we're in trouble. Y'all just turn that ball over. And I'm like, I don't know either, but because the teams played hard. And again, I thought 3 of the years we were definitely as good, if not a little better, but we didn't do what we needed to do to win. We competed. I thought we had good plans and all that stuff. We had some tough breaks. And when the teams are pretty even, like they were, you can't overcome some of those mistakes. I think the one year down there, I think we had 5 turnovers in that one game. And even with all that, we still had a chance. I remember Adam Humphries was taking a return across the 50, and son of a gun, he don't fumble the ball. And then with Taj is going in, and he fumbles the ball. And it was like, we just had some tough breaks, but you got to give them some credit. I mean, they made plays, and they knocked them loose. And so it was pretty close. But, the biggest thing is you just got to keep playing. You can't allow this game to define your program, even though the fans want to do that. I think as a coach, you have to look at the totality of your season. You're going to live with it, but are you making improvement? Those type of things. And so for me, that's what I tried to stay focused on. And a lot of times people didn't want to hear that, but I'm like, hey man, we just went 11-2. All right, we lost the game. We're not happy about that, but how about the progress we're making as a program? And if we continue to do these things, then hey, you know what? We'll get back and we'll make this more consistent and competitive. And so you just gotta you can't let that game define you as a coach, and you can't let it define your team. Here's the reality. Don't listen to all the stuff and what everybody's opinions are. And the world is coming to an end, and this and that. Don't just try not to do that, and say here's the truth. Here's the reality. Here's what we have to do, and you just go to work at that. And so South Carolina is getting better. Will's doing a good job. I mean, they've recruited some really good players in there, and I think they're continuing to do that. So